if you like Sukhasana, come into Sukhasana with your legs crossed, but any seat that just allows you to sit up nice and tall. So whatever feels most comfortable in your body. Take a second, find your way there. And then I say that, take a second, find your way there. And then right away, notice how you crossed your legs in your seat and then switch them so that it's your awkward cross. So come into that more awkward seat and then take a second to kind of settle into that. Notice how that feels. Just notice right away how just even switching the crossing your legs might make you pay a little bit more attention. Close your eyes down if it feels available. Let your hands rest on your knees or your thighs. If you can, just kind of tune in and sense those like little subtle variations. So with that switch in the cross of your seat, maybe one knee is a little higher than the other. Maybe your sits bones feel a little different on the ground. Maybe your ankles feel a little different on the ground. Take one more moment just to notice. And then if it's really super uncomfortable, feel free to switch. But if it feels okay to be in this awkward cross of your legs, stay here. And then think about just lifting a little bit taller up through the spine and then draw your chin back just slightly like you're trying to make a tiny little double chin. And then once you've found this nice upright posture, we're going to see if we can slide the hands in and find those bony hip points or those protruding front hip bones. And then we're going to take it into a little pelvic tilt, but it's going to be a super small, super subtle motion. So you're going to feel that little tilt of the pelvis forward and back, and then try to see if you can find most of the work coming from the low abdominal muscles rather than your butt and your thighs. So if you can, just moving your pelvis, tilting it forward and back, but allowing the inner abdominal muscles to do most of the work for you here. Close your eyes down if you feel like it helps you find that movement. Great, take one more tilt forward and back, and then see if you can find what you think is your neutral position of your pelvis, and then release your hands again. Let your hands find your knees, close your eyes down, take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Nice deep breath in, fill your lungs up. And then as you exhale, can you tune into your pelvic floor or that area that you were just moving around, and see as you exhale, can you feel that little uplift, the muscles draw in and up just a little bit, and then inhale, release. Exhale, see if you can find that upward lifting sensation or that mula bandha, so that just lift and squeeze from the pelvic floor. Inhale to release. And then just one more like that. Take your big breath in, fill your lungs up, and then as you exhale, see if you can tune in and feel that just little upward lifting sensation from the pelvic floor. Inhale to release. Awesome. And then we're going to move into a seated cat-cow from here. So as you inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale and round your back, round your shoulders, tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale to lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale to round. One more time here. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. And then see if you can come back up to that neutral spine. And now we're going to see if we can find that Uddiyana Bandha, that flying upward lock. So Mula Bandha is that root lock of the pelvic floor. And then Uddiyana Bandha is that flying upward lock. So we pull the abdominal muscles in and up into the ribs. So take your inhale, just a nice full deep breath. Exhale, and at the end of the exhale, suck the abdominal muscles in and up so we get that nice hollow belly sensation. Hold it just for a moment, just to feel that strength in your center. And then when you're ready, release your abdominal muscles, inhale, and let your belly inflate a little bit. Exhale. At the end of the exhale, suck the abdominal muscles in, get that in and up sensation. Hold that for a moment. And then when you're ready, release the abdominal muscles, inhale and fill up. And do that one more time. Exhale. At the end of the exhale, suck the abdominal muscles in and up. Hold that sensation for a moment. And then when you're ready to release, first relax the muscles and then take your breath. Beautiful. And then before we move away from this place, stack your hands right on top of your heart, close your eyes down. Take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Cool. And then with that intention set, keep your hands stacked on your heart with a gentle pressure on that connective tissue. Inhale, lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest. Inhale to lift your chin up. Exhale to tuck your chin down. One more time here. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale to tuck your chin down. Head's going to come to a neutral position. And now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So right hand's going to touch the ground. Left hand's going to reach up alongside your ear. Take a nice big side bend, making sure that the sits bones stayed nice and anchored onto the ground. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. Lift up and take it over to the other side. So left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. Think about drawing that top thumb back just a little bit so we stay nice and open through the side of the body. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Beautiful. Lift it back up to center. We're going to take it into a light, easy seated forward fold. So walk yourself forward just a little bit. Come to like that halfway point, maybe not all the way to your edge or to the full depth that you like to go, but then pause at that halfway point and notice. So if you still have your legs in that awkward cross or that opposite cross of what you normally do, take a second here to just notice your knees, notice your hips, notice your ankles. Take one more breath. And then see if you can take it just a little bit further. Walk your hands out one more big step. Soften into that position. Soften through the back of your body. Soften your arms. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully bring it back up and in. And then we're going to spin those legs around and take it right into a tabletop position. So come onto all fours and then right away check in. So if you need to cushion your knees, maybe you take your mat and double stack it or put a little towel or blanket under your knees. And then once you've got a nice tabletop position and it feels really good, we're going to right away curl the toes under, pull your butt back toward your heels just a little bit, and then come forward, let your shoulders come past your wrists just slightly. Pull your butt back toward your heels just a little bit, and then bring it forward, shoulders come slightly past the wrists. Beautiful. Pull your butt back toward your heels. Come forward, shoulders past the wrist just slightly. Two more to go here. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Come forward, shoulders come slightly past the wrist. Lovely. One more time. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Come forward, shoulders slightly past the wrist, and then bring your shoulders back as you release your toes. And now we're going to flip the right hand. So pick your right hand up, turn your fingertips towards your knee, replant your palm down, get a little stretch in your wrist. Notice how that feels. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And we're not going to peel back this time. We're going to release it. So pick it up, turn it around, and take it to the other side. Pick your left hand up, turn your fingers toward your knees, plant your palm. Pause there. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. Lift that hand up, spin it around, replace it. And now we're going to bring the butt back towards the heels just a little bit. So taking some of the weight out of the wrist. Now pick up your right hand, turn the fingers towards your knee, see how that feels. And then can you pick up the left hand and turn the left fingers towards your knee? So both hands are going to be turned in. And then you can release some of that weight from the heels. Just want to make sure that you get your wrists set right. And then once everything's feeling good, slowly, 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 think about a centimeter. Pull your butt back towards your heels just a little bit till you feel a good stretch in the wrists. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. And now we're going to peel the palms up. So pull your butt gently back toward your heels as you peel the palms away. Fingers are going to peel up and then sit all the way back on your heels. Give your wrists a nice little shake. And then just check in here and make sure this feels good. You might choose to sit in a Sukhasana if sitting back on your heels doesn't feel like a nice way to sit, especially some of our knees don't love this position. But sit in a way that feels good. And now we're going to bring the elbows and forearms and palms together. So first with just a little bit of a prayer position. Inhale and gently lift the fingers up. Exhale, pull the elbows down just slightly. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the fingertips up. Exhale, pull the elbows down just slightly. One more just like that. Inhale, lift the fingertips up. Exhale, pull the elbows just slightly and then bring the shoulders or elbows back in line with the shoulders. And now we're going to interlace the fingers, but with the awkward cross of the fingers. So find that awkward cross or the not usual way you go to first. And then once you've got your way here, keeping the elbows and forearms together, circle your wrists in one direction. Circle your wrists the other way. Nice. And then let that come to stillness, release your fingers, and now switch them to the cross, your natural cross, or the original way that you usually start with. And then take your wrists, circle them in one direction. Nice. Take your wrists, circle them the other way. Beautiful. And then let those come to stillness, unlace your fingers, and then catch hold of your shoulders. So we're just going to give ourselves a little hug here. Draw the shoulders down, elbows down, pull the abdominal muscles in, round the upper back body, tuck your chin into your chest, take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, come up, open your arms nice and wide. Just notice which arm is on top, get a little opening through the heart space. And then other arm is going to come on top. Give yourself that little hug, grab the shoulders, pull the shoulders down, elbows down, abdominal muscles in, round the back, tuck your chin into your chest. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. Inhale, lift, open your heart. Just take a nice big breath as you open through the front of the chest and then float yourself forward, come into your tabletop position. Slide your right leg back, toes curled under and take a few rocks forward and back. Bring a little length back into the back of that leg. Beautiful. One more rock forward and back. And then we're going to keep our shoulders in line with the wrist. So we're going to stabilize our table first. Broaden your shoulders. Keep that right leg out. Now lift the toe away from the ground. And now we're going to swing that leg out to the right. So we're going to swing it out. Let it externally rotate if it needs to, but try to keep your shoulders stable. And now holding that leg out to the side, we're going to do about 3 toe taps. So we're just going to touch the toe down to the ground, lift it back up, touch down and lift up. Beautiful. One more time, touch down, lift up, broaden your shoulders, stabilize your center, swing that leg all the way back around, slide it in, and we'll take it to the other side. Slide the left leg back, toes curled under, take a few rocks forward and back. Nice. And then the next time your shoulders come in line with the wrist, stay there, lift the leg up, swing it out to the side, but try to keep everything else as stable as you can. I hit a wall, so I got to move just a little bit. Once you're there, broaden those shoulders and then take those 3 toe taps, touch down and lift up, touch down and lift up. Beautiful. Touch down and lift up, and then keep that leg lifted. Swing it all the way around. Everything else stays stable. Nice work. Float that foot down, come back to your tabletop position, move right into your puppy pose. Keep your hips in line with your knees. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Let your chest and forehead sink down and take about 3 nice big breaths. Beautiful. From here, we're going to start to find our way down to a Sphinx position, but we'll make it our way there through a low plank. So bring the elbows and forearms down, elbows in line with the shoulders, hands in that parallel position, spread your fingers nice and wide. Once you've got your way there, think about pulling the abdomen up just a little bit so we keep a nice broadness in the shoulders and a little strength through the upper body. Step your right leg back. Step your left foot back to meet, and then if your butt's way up in the air, lower your butt down so you find that low plank. Take one good breath here. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release your knees down, release your toes, float right through that Sphinx position. So elbows draw back energetically, heart lifts forward, press up through the crown of your head. Take one big inhale. Cool. Now we're going to swing the hands out. So think about swinging your hands so that your fingers are pointing towards the corners of your mat. So just a slightly wider position with the hands, but the elbows stay where they are. And now we're going to lift up into a seal, but then we'll lower right back down. So push into the palms, lift the elbows away from the floor, lower your elbows back down with control. Lovely. Reach through the crown of your head, press into the fingers, lift the elbows up away from the floor. Beautiful. Lower down with control. We're going to do that one more time. Spread the fingers, press into the palms, lift the elbows up away from the floor. Nice. Lower your elbows down, lower all the way down onto your belly, and then take a second. Wiggle out your bum, shake out your low back, stack your hands, let your forehead rest there. And then we're going to bend both knees and just swish the heels a little side to side. Beautiful. One more swish of the heels side to side, and then float your toes back down to the ground. Push your way all the way up to a tabletop position, and then we're going to find our way back to extended child's pose. So big toes together, knees out nice and wide to the outer edges of your mat. Pull your butt back towards your heels, but create a little space. So we're going to take a little shoulder stretch from here. So with your arms extended out in front of you and a little space for the front of the body, take your right hand, thread it through, but we're going to keep the spine in neutral position. So think of this as that pulling the arm across the chest maneuver. Slide your right hand across, make some space for that arm and that shoulder, but keep your spine as straight as you can. And then once you feel like you've got your arm in a good place, soften your heart down. You can wiggle it around just a little bit so you make that right arm fit in a nice little groove. And then once you feel like you're there, take 3 nice big breaths. One more breath. And then slowly lift back up. Think about pressing into the left palm, create that bit of space, slide that right arm out, reach it out in front of you. And now we're going to switch to the other side. So left hand's going to lift up and thread through, but we're going to keep our spine as neutral as we can, facing forward. Create that little space for your arm to slide into. And then once you feel like you're there, soften your heart down and take 3 nice big breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, press into your right palm, lift up just a little bit, slide that left hand out. So both arms are going to reach out in front of you. Take 1 good breath, just letting the heart soften down and the forehead melt down. Nice. And then on your next inhale, lift yourself on up, walk those knees back in. So knees are back in line with the hips. Curl the toes under, pull your butt back to your heels, get a little extra stretch to the toes and the bottoms of the feet. Take 1 big breath. And then keeping the toes curled under, lift your butt slightly away from your heels and then hold your knees up away from the floor and start to lift up into your downward facing dog. Once you've got yourself there, take a few pedals of the legs, bend 1 knee and press into the opposite heel. Nice. Take 1 more pedal of each leg, and then we're going to bring it back down into that tabletop position. So lift your heels, lower your knees, come down, step the right foot forward. So we're going to come into our little 90-90 lunge. So you're going to step that right foot up and then lift your heart up and away, and then just readjust your legs as needed. Once you're there, hands to the hips, and we're going to bring the knee forward. So it's going to go slightly past the toes or as far as feels right to your knee, and then push yourself back up. Lean yourself forward, knee comes slightly past the toes if it can, and push yourself back up. Beautiful. 1 more time, just like that. Lean forward, push yourself back up, and now toe heel the foot out. So it's that 45-degree or out to the corner edge of your mat. And then once you're there, lean out just as far as feels right to you. Push yourself back up with control. Beautiful. Lean out and come back up. Nice. 1 more time, lean out. Come back up and then toe heel that foot out nice and wide. So as wide as feels good to you. We're all going to look a little different here because we all have a little bit of variation in that external rotation. And then once you feel like you're at your edge, lean out, push yourself back up, lean out, push yourself back up. 1 more time, just like that. Lean out, push yourself back up. But now we're going to stay here and our body's going to angle slightly. So think of this as kind of a weird modified warrior 2 with that external rotation of the legs, but now we're going to add a little bit of a down dog situation. So you're going to lean your heart forward, hands are going to find the ground, and then walk your hands out to a nice long reach, and then let your chest and your forehead drop down. Take a nice deep breath in, slow breath out. Wonderful. And then walk your hands back up and in. We're going to bring the right elbow to that right knee. And now think side angle. So we're going to reach that left hand up, take a nice big reach through the fingertips, and then come all the way up. Hands are going to find the ground, and we're just going to spin that right leg back. So we find that tabletop position. Drop your hips a little bit side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to take all of that to the other side. So step your left foot up, finding that 90-90 lunge. Lift your heart away from the thighs. Beautiful. And then once you're there, lean forward, just go as far as feels right to your knee. Push yourself back up with control. Nice. Lean forward just as far as feels good. And push yourself back up. Beautiful. 1 more time. Lean forward. Bring it back up and now toe heel the foot out. So it's about that 45-degree angle. Once you're there, lean out just a little bit and come back up. Awesome. Lean out just a little bit and come back up. One more time here. Lean out and come back up. And now toe heel it out as wide as feels good to you. So go to your edge of external rotation. And then once you're there, lean out and bring yourself back in. Awesome. Lean out and bring yourself back in. One more time. Lean out. Beautiful. Bring yourself back in. But now we're going to rotate the heart at an angle. Hands are going to find the ground. Walk yourself out so the bottom half of the body is in a modified warrior two position with that external rotation. And the top half of the body is finding that sort of downward dog situation. Let your head drop down. Take a nice deep breath in. Beautiful. And then walk your hands back up and in. Left elbow is going to find that left knee. Right hand is going to reach up. Take that nice big side bend. Beautiful. And then lift up with control. Hands are going to find the ground. Left foot's going to step back into that tabletop position. Both toes curled under. Pull your butt back to your heels. Stay an extra breath here. Nice. And then lift your butt slightly away from the heels. Keep the toes curled under. Lift up into your downward facing dog. Take a few pedals of the legs. One more pedal of each leg, and then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a nice ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart with a good amount of space for your belly, a good amount of space for your chest, and then let everything kind of settle in. Take a second to find and create that space and then soften through the back of the body. Either let your arms be super heavy or maybe catch hold of your elbows, just whatever feels good to you there. And then see if you can just take a moment to tune back into your breath. Notice your inhalation. Notice your exhalation. Take one more breath. If you're holding onto your elbows, go ahead and release them down to the ground. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in strong from your navel center. Roll up to a standing position. Take your time. And then as you come on up, just give yourself a second. Get yourself situated at the top of your mat. And then step your feet in so feet are about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. And then once you've found that footing, shift your weight over to your left foot. Peel your right heel up. Big toe stays on the ground. Notice that just that little transfer of weight. Set your right heel down, shift your weight onto your right foot, peel your left heel up, big toe stays on the ground, just noticing that transfer of weight, and then set that foot down. Now find your mountain pose. Root into your feet, reach up through the crown of your head, shoulders down. Pause here for a moment, just take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to interlace the fingers, but do the weird cross of your fingers. So start with that weird cross of your hands. Once you found your way there, flip the palms, press the palms forward, glide the shoulders down, pull the abdominal muscles in. Inhale and lift the arms up. Exhale, we're going to bend the knees, pull the arms forward, round the back as you push through the palms. Beautiful. Inhale, straighten the legs, lift the arms up, look up. Exhale, bend the knees, round the back, push the palms forward. Beautiful. One more time here. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, round the back, push the palms forward. Nice. Inhale, lift all the way up, unlace your fingers, float your arms all the way down. Roll the shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and now interlace the fingers the normal way or the regular way you like to start with. Flip the palms, press them forward. Awesome. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, bend the knees, round the back, push through the palms. Inhale, lift the arms, straighten the legs, look to the sky. Exhale, bend and round. Lovely. One more time here. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to round. Inhale to lift all the way up, unlace the fingers, float the hands down, but this time bring them behind the back right away. Start with the regular normal interlace of the fingers just to kind of notice what that feels like, and then switch the crossing your fingers. So find that weird interlace. And then once you've got your weird interlace, draw the knuckles down towards the heels, squeeze between the shoulder blades, but pull the ribs in towards each other. So if the whole chest and the ribs puffed up and flared, now pull the ribs in towards each other, make your belly nice and solid. Feel that opening through the chest and the collarbones. Knuckles are still drawing down towards the ground. Take one more breath. Cool. Now we're going to soften up that position just a little bit, but keep the interlace of the fingers. Take your knuckles and draw them over to the left side of your body. Once you've got your way there, straighten your spine back up. So if you kind of made everything get a little bit side bendy, come back up so that the shoulders are level. So knuckles are over to the left side of the body. And then once you've got everything there, drop your left ear over to your left shoulder. Take one more breath. Lift your head up to center, release your knuckles from the left side, and then pull them all the way over to the right. And then once you're there, if you got that little side bend situation going on, realign your spine, square up your shoulders. And then once you feel like you're there, knuckles are over to the right side of the body, drop your right ear over to your right shoulder. Take one more breath. Lift your head back up to a neutral position. Release your knuckles down, reach them towards the heels again. Squeeze between the shoulder blades. Maybe lift the chin up just a little bit. Notice that opening through the front of the chest, through the collarbones. Take one more breath. Chin comes back to neutral. Unlace your hands. Come back to your mountain pose. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold, hands slide up to the shins. Exhale to soften down. We're going to step the left leg back into a runner's lunge. So not the way we normally start. So step your left leg back into your lunge. Heart forward, look forward. Take a breath. Beautiful. Plant your palms, step back to a plank. Right away, bring your knees down. Hug your elbows into your ribs. Lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to one low cobra. Exhale to lower down, push your way up into a tabletop position, all the way back to child's pose. So big toes together, knees together, pull your butt back to your heels, reach through your arms, take one big breath. Beautiful. On your next inhale, lift up into a tabletop position, curl the toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands. But if you can, start with the weird foot, start with the foot that you don't normally start with and walk yourself to the front end of your mat. Beautiful. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up nice and slow and controlled. Roll your shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, and now we're going to step the right leg back. So we're going to take that runner's lunge to the other side. So step your right leg back as far as you like, heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Beautiful. Plant the palms, step back to plank. Right away, bring the knees down, hug the elbows into the ribs, lower with control onto your belly. One low cobra here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Beautiful. Push your way through tabletop all the way back to your child's pose. So big toes together, knees together, butt comes back to the heels, reach through the arms, take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Inhale up to table, exhale up to downward facing dog. Beautiful. And then see again, can you start leading with your awkward foot? So walk yourself to the front end of your mat, but start with the foot that you normally start with. Notice how that feels as you walk yourself forward. Once you're to the top of the mat, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, roll your shoulders around, down and back. Transfer your weight onto your right foot, pick your left knee up just as high as you can control and sustain. Take one good breath. Set that foot down, shift your weight over to your left foot, pick your right knee up just as high as you can hold and sustain. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Set that foot down, find your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the left leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out. So the right leg is forward, left leg is back. We're starting with those opposite sides today. Lift your heart away from your thighs and then reach your arms up and overhead. Notice that right hip crease and see if you can just draw it back slightly, sink a little deeper into that front thigh. Lift your gaze, lift your heart, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And now we're going to swim the hands behind the back with the awkward interlace of the fingers. So not your normal interlace, the awkward cross, and then draw your knuckles toward your heels, squeeze between the shoulder blades, open your heart, lift your gaze slightly, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then from here, release those arms, float them right back up to the sky, take one big breath. Hands are going to come down to the ground as you pivot that back heel. So we'll come through that runner's lunge. Lovely. Plant the palms, step back to plank. From our plank position, we're going to take it into an upward facing dog. So we're going to flip over onto the tops of the feet, let the thighs come down, hips are going to stay lifted, a nice arch in the back, take one good breath. Cool, and then from here, lift up into your downward facing dog, flip over onto the bottoms of your feet or the balls of the feet, take a breath, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, warrior one. So we drop the back heel down, toes turn out, hips stay facing forward. Lift your heart away from your thighs, arms reach up and overhead. Tune into that left hip crease and see if you can just draw it back a little bit. Sink a little deeper into that front thigh. Beautiful. And then from here, hands are going to come behind the back. Weird interlace of the fingers. So if you need to, find your regular cross and then switch. And then draw the knuckles towards the heels, squeeze between the shoulder blades, open through your heart, lift your gaze, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, unlace those fingers, reach your arms up and overhead, look to the sky, and then we'll float the hands down, pivot that back heel so you come through your runner's lunge. Beautiful. Plant the palms, step back to plank, come to upward facing dog. So we're going to flip over onto the tops of the feet. The tops of the thighs stay lifted, the hips stay lifted, a nice little arch in the back, lift your chest. Beautiful, and then lift back into your downward facing dog. Flip back over onto the balls of the feet. Take a nice big breath. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your side. Shift your weight over to your left foot, pick your right knee up. Notice where your balance is at here. And then we are going to hold balance just a little bit longer. So if you want that little extra support, maybe put yourself near a wall or a chair, something that can offer you that bit of support. First, to start with that right knee lifted, we're just going to flex the foot, spread your toes as wide as you can, and then push your heel forward. Keep the toes spread just as best you can. And don't worry about height. That might look different for all of us, but what you want is that position that you can hold nice and strong. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, pull the knee back in, set the foot doing, take a second, give every little thing a little shake, a little wiggle, and then we're going to take it to the other side. So shift your weight onto your right foot, pick your left knee up, flex your foot, spread your toes as wide as you can, hold that high position, and then push the heel forward. Nice and strong here. Keep those toes spread. Take one more moment. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, bend that knee, pull it back in, set it down. Find your mountain pose. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing. As you roll on up and find your standing position, transfer your weight onto your left foot, pick your right knee up. Right piece fingers are going to see if we can grab hold of the big toe. So that's going to be our starting point, just to see if we can find that little bit of a grab. Hold that balance for a minute, just see how it feels. Take one good breath. Release your big toe, set that foot down, back to your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll on up to standing, transfer your weight onto your right foot. Pick your left foot up, grab hold of that left big toe with your peace fingers, just finding your handhold here. So that's all you got to do. See how that feels to just hold on to that big toe, finding a little bit of balance. And then when you're ready, set that foot down, come back to your mountain pose. Nice. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Now, can you grab hold of your right big toe and take it up with you? So as you lift up into your standing position, can you take your right big toe with you and then extend your right big toe out in front of you nice and long? Left hand can be wherever it wants to be, on the hip, in the air, whatever feels good. Take one more moment. Bend that knee, release that foot down with control. Find your mountain pose. Awesome. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Now, can you take your left peace fingers, grab hold of your left big toe, and pick that left leg up with you? Take your time. One side might feel a lot more balanced than the other. If you can get it all the way up, now can you extend that leg up? Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly, gently, mindfully release that foot down, find your mountain pose again. Pause in your mountain pose, take a second, come back to your breath. Take a nice deep inhale, fill your lungs up all the way down to the bottoms of the lungs, all the way up to the collarbones. Take one more big conscious breath here. Nice, and then when you're ready, inhale, arms up, hands meet chest, lift as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, arms up. Pull that right hip crease back as you sink a little deeper into that front thigh and lift your heart. Hands are going to come behind the back, and here's a place where if you want to use your yoga strap, if your shoulders are feeling super tight, go ahead and grab it, but interlace the fingers and then draw the arms away from the back of the body, fold yourself forward and let your arms fall away. So we're taking it into our humble warrior. Nice and strong in the legs. Take one more good breath. Beautiful, and then let your hands release to the low back, lift from the top of your head, unlace your fingers, reach them up and overhead. Float the hands down, pivot the back foot, come through your runner's lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank, lower the knees, lower down onto your belly with control. Inhale up to cobra, just as high as you like. Exhale, either take it through table or all the way up to down dog, just whatever feels better to you here. Inhale, inhale here at the downward facing dog, and then when you're ready, walk your feet up to the top edge of your mat, find your forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, hands meet chest, lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, right leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale to lift your arms up. Pull that left hip crease back, sink into that front thigh, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Beautiful, and then swim those hands behind the back. Weird interlace of the fingers. So switch the cross in your hands, draw the knuckles toward your heels, squeeze between the shoulder blades, arms lift away from the back of the body, and then fold yourself over into your humble warrior. Beautiful, strong legs. Release your hands towards your low back, lift through the top of your head, unlace your fingers, lift your arms up, and then take it through your runner's lunge. Hands are going to float down to the ground as you pivot your back heel. Beautiful, plant the palms, step back to plank. Lower your knees, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to cobra, just as high as you like. Exhale, either take it through table or up to your down dog, whichever way you like to go. Take one more breath. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, shift your weight onto your left foot. Can you grab hold of your right big toe? Pull it up to a standing position, slow and steady, take your time. If you get all the way up and you've got hold of that big toe, one good breath, extend it out, bend that knee, bring it back in, set it back down, tuck chin to chest, bend your knees a lot, roll all the way back down to the ground, transfer your weight onto your right foot. Can you grab hold of the left big toe? Take your time. One side might be more stable and strong than the other, so give it that time that it needs. If you can get it all the way up to that standing position, maybe you push the heel forward, take one good breath. Beautiful, bend that knee, set it down, come back to your mountain pose. Take a moment here just to notice. Notice how your legs feel. Notice how your hips feel. Notice your back and your shoulders. Notice your breath. When you're ready, inhale, arms up, hands meet chest, lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to downward facing dog. Up your heels, lower your knees, come into a tabletop position. And then from here, we're gonna set ourselves up to a little deer pose. So if you like, just swing your heels over to the left, sit back on your butt, and then we're gonna rearrange the legs. So right leg is gonna be out in front, left leg is out to the side. So get your deer seat to start. We're gonna stretch the hips, and then we're gonna take it a little bit further. So once you've got your deer seat situation, walk yourself out to your edge. Go just as far as feels comfortable, maybe coming all the way down so the belly softens, the heart softens, and there's a little reach through your arms. Take a nice deep breath in, but take the time here to notice. Notice your right knee or your front knee. Notice your right hip. Just notice how things are feeling here. And if you feel like you've already reached an edge here, this might be where you choose to stay. Take one more breath. Come up nice and slow. We're gonna spin it around into a little supported boat. So lean back into your sits bones, pick your legs up, bring them up and out in front of you, grab the backs of your thighs, push your thighs into your hands, lift your chest, reach through your toes or flex your feet, but just bring a little energy up, down through the feet. Take one good breath. Beautiful, and then reset those feet to the other side. So we're gonna spin that left leg in, right leg is gonna come out to the side. So get your deer seat set up, get all comfortable in that position. And then once you feel like you're there, walk yourself out to an edge that feels good to you. Go just as far as feels right, but check that left knee, check your left hip and see how things are feeling here. Beautiful, take one more breath. And then when you're ready, come up nice and slow. And then just depending on how that felt, and I'll spin out so that you can see both directions. But if you can, keeping that left leg in front. Now we're gonna lean into the left hip so we can pick that right leg up and spin it all the way across. And now we're gonna take it into our fire log pose. And I'll spin around just so you can get what's going on. So the bottom leg is gonna be across the body, and then that top leg is gonna come over. So heel in line with the knee, knee in line with the heel. So once you've got that alignment, and just notice that for some of us, this might look a little different. My leg stays fairly lifted or my knee stays slightly lifted. I could push it down, but it's not necessary. Just know that there will be subtle variations within our body. Once you've got yourself here, if you're already here and your knee is screaming at you, swing that leg out, come back to your deer pose. But if it feels okay to be here, hands are gonna find the ground, lift through the chest, and then start to lean yourself forward just to the point where you feel good sensation in the outer edge of your hip. So notice your sensation there. If your knee starts screaming at you first, you've gone too far, swing it out, find your deer position. But if it feels okay to be here, take one more breath. Awesome. Lift up nice and slow and controlled. Gently help that top leg come off. Spin it out in front of you. Send the other leg out. Give everything a little wiggle, a little bop. Bop out your knees. Make sure everything feels okay. And then once you feel like you've got all that worked out, now we're going to take it to the other side. So bring the other leg down on the bottom. Help the other leg come across. So we're lining up heel to knee, heel to knee. So we get that nice stack of the legs, like they're stacked little logs of fire, right? And the fire is sometimes in your hips. So just notice where in your body feels sensation, hopefully not your knee. Once you've got your legs set up, lift through the chest and then lean your heart forward just to a point that feels good. Hopefully finding sensation down into your glute and into the side of your hip, but not into your knee. Beautiful. Take one more breath. Awesome. And then when you're ready, lift up to the top of the head, gently help that leg come off, spin it out in front of you, send the other leg out nice and long. So both legs out in front of you, give everything a little wiggle. Wiggle your ankles, bop out your knees, shake out your hips. And then once you feel like you've kind of worked all that stuff out, scoot your butt forward, curl your tailbone under, roll your way down to the ground, nice and slow and controlled. Great. Once you've found your way down, just take a second, get yourself situated, fix your clothes, fix your hair, make sure everything feels good on the ground. And now we're going to come back to our pelvic tilt. So hands are going to find those bony protruding hip points and then start to find just your normal pelvic tilt. Exhale as you press your low back into the ground. Inhale to release. Awesome. And now see if you can make that pelvic tilt happen without using your quadricep muscles or your glute muscles. So see if now you can make that pelvic tilt happen by mostly using the abdominal muscles. So it might be a more subtle, small movement. And then with the hands on the hip bones, just get a sense of where the hip points are and that front pubic bone. And then we want to see if we can level set the pelvis. So the front hip bones and that front pubic bone are going to line up. You would just want to imagine there's that little bubble of the level, and we're going to line up that space so the hip points and the pubic bone are level. And then once you feel like you found that level set of your hips, now keep all of that. Pull the backs of your ribs down into the ground. So hopefully you feel your center fire up. And then once you're here, hold all of that, let your hands come out at your sides. We're going to pick the right leg up. Everything else is going to stay as stable as it can. Right leg is going to lift and then lower that right leg down. Everything else stays as stable as it can. Over to the left. Left leg is going to lift. Everything else stays as stable as it can. Lower that leg back down. Nice. Come back to the right. Right leg is going to lift. Everything else stays as stable as it can. Lower that leg back down. Left leg is going to lift. Everything else stays stable as it can. Lower that leg back down. Beautiful. We're going to do that one more time. Lift the right leg up and lower it down. Lift the left leg up and lower it down. Awesome. Right leg is now going to come across the left into a figure 4 shape. Relax your hips for a second. Woo, relax your belly, relax your ribs, make sure everything feels good. And then with just a light little flex in that right foot, we're going to pick the left leg up. So hands free to start. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale to lower it back down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. One more time here. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, lower down. Keep that left foot on the floor. Slide your hands in, palms facing down. Press into the palms and take it into a single leg bridge. Inhale, lift your hips away from the ground. Exhale to lower back down. 2 more just like that. Inhale to lift your hips up. Exhale to lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down, and now pick the left leg up, thread your hands through, pull it into a nice little squeeze that feels good to you. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then loosen up your grip just a little bit, but keep that figure 4. Take your figure 4, draw it in circles, go in one direction. Nice. And then take your figure four, draw it in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. When you're ready, release that foot down to the ground, step your right foot off, and then we're coming over to the other side. So left leg is going to come across the right, a light little flex in that left foot, hands free to start. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale to lower it down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. One more time here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Keep that right foot on the ground. Keep the left leg across into that single leg bridge. Inhale, lift your hips up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. One more time here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. And now pick the right leg up. Thread the hands through, grabbing the back of the thigh or the top of the shin, just whatever grab works for you. Pull it into your comfort level. Take a breath. And then loosen up your handhold just a little bit. Take your figure four, draw it in circles, go in one direction. Take your figure four, draw it in circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, release that all down, step your left leg off the right. And then we're going to just take a second to readjust the spine, readjust your clothes, make sure everything feels good. But now we're going to float the legs up into that 90-degree bend or that reverse tabletop position. Once you're there, legs are going to drop over to the right. Let them come all the way down to the ground. Legs find their place first, and then right hand is going to just place on top of the thighs to create a little bit of leverage. Once your right hand is in place, draw your left shoulder down, left arm opens out wide, and then the head turns to the left if that feels good. Take one more breath. Let your head return to center. Release your handhold from those thighs. Pull those knees back up to center. Pause for a second. Reset anything that you need to. And then we're going to take those knees and drop them over to the left. So let the legs come down first. Left hand to the outside of the thighs, just to create a little bit of leverage. Press the thighs down. Press your right shoulder down. Right arm opens out nice and wide, and the head turns to the right if that feels good. Take one more breath. Head returns to center. Release your left hand from the thighs. Lift the legs back to center. And then we're going to take it into a semi-happy baby. So with the knees slightly wide, draw the knees towards the shoulders and then find a little gentle rock side to side. Beautiful. One more little rock side to side. And then we're going to lift the legs up just slightly so that we can get a handhold. So hands are going to push into the knees are going to push into the hands. So we're going to get that opposite action going on. So push the knees out, hands push in. Your legs might shake a little bit. Your arms are working hard. Keep that active position. Knees pushing out, hands pushing in. Hold it just as long as you can. Nice and steady, nice and stable. See if you can hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax, gently pull the knees into your chest, a light little squeeze, and then maybe take those knees together, draw them in circles, go in one direction. And then draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, start to find your way into your Shavasana. So if you're in a cold space, maybe you take a second to put your socks back on or your sweater back on or grab your blanket. And then ask your body where would be your best position for your body. So maybe you'll come to constructive rest, super supportive to the low back. Maybe you need a little bit more action for the hips, take it into your reclined cobbler's pose, or maybe you take that more traditional shape, or maybe you roll onto your side or flip onto your belly, just whatever feels good to you. But take a second to find a nice comfortable position. And then once you feel like you're in a fairly comfortable position, just give everything a second. Work out all your little wiggles. Wiggle out your bum, your shoulders, your heels, your fingers, your toes. Maybe you close your eyes down or just soften your gaze. And then see if you can just kind of tune in and get a sense of the solidness of the floor beneath you. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Invite some gentle movement into your fingers and your toes. Maybe rock your head a little bit side to side. And then maybe as your breath starts to deepen, you start to reawaken the body, making some bigger movements. Move your wrists, move your ankles, move your knees, move your thighs. Any little bit of movement here that feels good. And then if it feels really great to do so, maybe you'll take it into a big good morning stretch. So if your legs are in a bent position, maybe you send them nice and long, scoot your props out of the way, and then take your arms up and overhead and take that nice long reach. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Take a nice big breath back into your body. Awesome. And then in your own way, at your own pace, start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe you come up to Sukhasana with legs crossed or any other seat that feels good in your body, but someplace where you have just a little access to the front of the neck and the chest and well, a little bit of the back of the neck as well. So come up to your nice tall seated position. Take a second to get super comfortable. And we're going to just reach across, find that space right underneath your collarbones and just give a couple of circles in one direction, nothing fancy. And then a couple of circles go the other way. We just kind of want to open that space up just a little bit and then take it over to the other side. Locate that groove right underneath your collarbone. Draw a couple of circles in one direction. Draw a couple of circles the other way. Awesome. And then release that. Clap your hands together and fire up your palms. Get your hands nice and good and hot. Create a little heat up into your arms, all the way up into your shoulders. And then once you feel like your hands are nice and good and hot, open your hands up like a book, reach them up and overhead, touch the space between your shoulders, gently glide your hands towards your heart, flick them out, and then bring them back together. Fire up your palms, get them nice and good and hot. Once your hands are nice and good and hot, open your hands up like a book, reach them up and overhead, touch the space between your shoulders, gently glide your hands towards your heart, flick them out. Clap your hands together one last time. Fire up your palms, get them nice and good and hot. And then once you feel like your hands are nice and good and hot, open them up like a book, reach them up and overhead, touch the space between your shoulders, glide your hands towards your heart, flick them out, and then bring those hands right back to your heart center. Close your eyes down or soften your gaze. Bow your head to your heart, bow your mind to your body. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Take another nice big inhale and think about letting your shoulders lift, maybe even tense up the muscles just a little bit. And then as you exhale, let your shoulders soften, let your jaw soften, and think about letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your morning. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Woohoo! Happy Tuesday. Tuesday.